Hello, hi, I am recording this presentation, sharing my update today at the 30th of June, the last day of the month, for the month of June 2025. So I am recording this simultaneously in the cell phone and the webcam. So I am doing so because the webcam doesn't have a filter. Um, I think comparatively speaking, it is good enough for the price that I had to pay and for the brand of the web camera. So I think it is trustworthy. Yeah? It brings out a resolution that is nearest, I think, in my personal appearance, minus the filter and the different colors and combinations in the like here in the cell phone, right? So usually when we buy cell phone nowadays, we look at the camera and look what it can add to our physical looks, right? Like our attraction. And I especially heavily dependent on this because, like in the music, depending on the mood or the message of the music, I tend to my work, how I prepare myself. That is the determinant, like what look or what message, what mood do I want to convey. So that's why, by the way, today is Monday, the beginning of the week, and it's bound to be a very busy first day of the week, and so many firsts because the newly elected officials will take, this is the beginning of the term. They will be serving a 3-year term. That's the mandate they have been given. And so this is the first day. And yeah, this is like in our case, my brother is an elected official in Tayabas City, the province of Quezon, and he has been elected as a councilor. So I am using this, I want to compare, I want to give a sample, the same difference, how I would look in person and how I usually come across through the cell phone video recording and uploads. Yeah. So I want to share how I have realized that I had been so stressed. Like I can remember some instances when I was so distressed that whenever one of my daughters would exhibit the same kind of tension and anxiety, I can mirror and not that I have completely outgrown it, but managed it. Yes, that's the right term. I have been able to manage it because I realized that the intangibles are also as important, and its importance is so growing in me that I so appreciate it. I realize also that one sure way, an instant gratification through the tangibles can like magically vanish the tension and the anxiety. Like if you have a bill, like if you have debts to pay, and the tangible would come like money, like an assured income, like food. Yeah, diba? When you're hungry, you need food, and food is a good example of the tangible. So people tend to be drawn towards it. at the cost of the intangibles. And usually, what are the intangibles like? Yeah, it's in the news nowadays. It's on the news, like they say that the justice, and the good example also of the tangible. Like, it's not a thing that my sensation, the sense of touch, can actually take measurement, quantify, like love, joy, peace, patience, goodness. So many brothers and sisters would actually know what is what is this what are these characteristics that I am narrating: kindness, goodness, self-control, faithfulness. And there isn't one person who can be an example 24/7, 365 days a year, having the perfect peace, having the complete grasp of the intangibles. Whereas there will be no contest if for example, I am holding like $1,000,000, $1,000,000 in my hand, $1,000,000 in my hand. There can be no question. It doesn't matter where I got them, if I had earned them properly. But if it's in my hand, there is no doubt anymore that it's there because it's so tangible. Our five senses can decipher. No need to decipher, can know, can attest to it, right? But with the intangibles, there are so many. It has to be demonstrated, shown, and there should be a standard of that should be agreed upon by all, and which is very hard because we are very opinionated and we have diverse sentiments. We are coming from different places, so our perspectives are different. So it's a matter of it's very complex how to qualify and quantify the presence and the absence of something that is intangible, like in the character of a person. So I have here, I am reminded. My life is an example, of course, in how these struggles, like, I got to talk with my friend Jo, and she was so very outspoken about my posts that she got to read. And she said, "Why do you have so many issues?" Why do you have so many issues? Yes, because that is actually a stark example of what, in the weighing scale, the importance of the tangible versus the intangible. The need to explain is greater when you're speaking about the intangibles. Things that are there, they are real, they are very much in existence or operational. But the five senses of an ordinary person cannot readily see it, taste it, hear it. They have to be, so many factors before it can be deemed as real. Somehow, like beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, right? So we have beauty pageants. So all of them are so beautiful, but there are standards that laymen, the outsiders of the beauty industry, the beauty pageant industry, will not readily appreciate or know. So that's why sometimes we challenge the result of the judging, right? So that's it also. And I am reminded of the story about the emperor who wears no clothes. The emperor he's supposed to be so vain that all kinds of styles and colors and fabrics, it reminds us, I thought it's just feminine prerogatives, the wiles of, nowadays, of course, we share that trait with also, just to be gender uh, politically correct in assigning the attributes of gender. Because men, this is, the emperor. It's not said that the empress. Yeah, the story as it was told to us. So it should be, since it's a fairy tale, a tale from a long time ago that had been passed. We can see that the vanity is not the sole prerogative or attribute of the females. So here the emperor is like has been there, done that, and he needed a new inspiration. He needed a new look, and he also wants to parade whatever he's wearing. Who made it? Probably the brand, the label, and the design. So it is this a long time ago story echoes today. I don't think it, for every generation or his period in history, there is always a representative reality to whatever the like the period in history, colonial, pre-colonial, liberation or independence. We always have these stories get to outlast the different historical events. So therefore, there must be something that is that resonates within human beings, right? So, and then there came a point in the life of this emperor that he had, he became so jaded that he could not be satisfied, contented with his wardrobe. And here there are different variations of the story, but the gist of it is that there was a very crafty, wise person who sold him the idea that what he wanted the king to wear is so unique and so remarkable that if he wears it, he would be the most admired monarch. He would be the most fascinating figure, that he would command respect and love from his subjects. And of course, these invisible clothes, you and I, because we know how the story ended, but if we don't if we are not privy to the ending of the story, we could be, what kind of genre is the story? Anyway, we can be sort of like suspended disbelief. We can also be taken for a ride or sold to the idea that there was really these spectacular clothes that this wise person was holding and selling to the king, right? And then later on, the king was a willing victim to this heist, to this scheme, because he was actually looking for something new. Been there, done that, a jaded person. His wardrobe probably is full to the brim, and he has like he had already discarded most of the worn out. Yeah, so he was really looking for something new. So he's a willing victim. And then the wise person also told him that if you are going to wear this, you must issue a decree to the whole principality that anyone who will not admire your clothes will be punished. So the law had to be issued, to be decreed, that every subject, that every part of the principality will not trust their eyes, will not trust their own judgment, but should be alongside with should be convinced and should be commanded to wear to wear something that to admire whatever the emperor is wearing as he paraded the major thoroughfare of the principality, of the kingdom, right? So what happened is that there is a consequence so grave that there would be, the personal judgment of the subjects, of the people, would be weighed against the consequences, the penalty of law. But of course, we all know what happened with the kids who had a great time exposing the truth, because they could not yet understand. It's supposed to, because kids, it's based on the human nature, right? The story. Because kids are not supposed to understand the premise of the law, royal decree, or if there's a parliament, if it's a republic, what the parliament had came up with in terms of the law of the land, that they are not supposed to go against the royal decree, and the royal decree said that the emperor is wearing the most fabulous, fantastic, extraordinary, so unique clothes, and you cannot dare to oppose that because it's a decree, it's the law of the land. So the people will not trust their judgment, what their eyes are telling them, what their ears can hear, and so here it's like that is the power, by the way, of the intangible and the tangible. It's the continued interaction of how one is to make it whole is plays a critical part in the other. So the kids, made fun of the king, and the king had heard and had seen the responses of the kids about the extraordinary clothes that he was wearing or he was not wearing, that he was actually in the splendor of his birthday. He's naked. We don't know the degree of his nakedness, but anyway, he must be wearing underwear to avoid vulgarity, right? So for me, it is somehow, if that can be a symbol, or the story can be likened to a parallelism, usually just like this old telltale, it's only a momentary period where a decree or a ruling or a law can run against the basic nature of human. The basic nature of human, it's something intangible, but it is something so real that it has managed to outlast the different upheavals in the history. Why the basic human nature had made of the modern civilization that we have now and made sense of of choosing peace over war, of choosing, generally speaking, of choosing how, the options to live with each other, and to choose war as the last resort instead of being the first. So it taught us that, and it comes from the intangibles, because the tangible would be like, oh, this country is so rich in this, so we must go there and get it from them in order for us to benefit. That's the tangible. You see something, it takes certain mechanics and operations to reign over our instinct, and that is an intangible. Yeah, so that is what I had then. Like, I used to be so overly stressed that, I have this platform. I could explain where I would be coming from. Hey, my name is Clarissa talaga. I'm Claristi, and I hope that I would make sense. It had taken years of, you're not making any sense, before I realized that somehow it is also, the prerogative, in that it's, the surface. Had it been a simple thing that I was doing this, and a simple, very simple differences of opinion, this would have been sorted out a long time ago. But because this has been very complex, and that there are many layers, it wasn't meant to be taken or discussed or resolved outside of the intangibles. And the intangibles being, yes, I do have that belief in my life that I practice. My faith, and that my vision of my present and my future is different from the vision of like the present and the future of other people. And only the test of time can bring sobriety to any heightened emotions out of the passion that run from different origin and different ways. Like, we can agree on the motherhood statements, like we want to have something to contribute, we want to promote, peace, like we want to share what we can for the betterment of the people around us. But really, as they say, it's in the details. The details, the ways and means how to get from point A to point B. And that some phase were allowed to happen, regardless of how strong my belief had been. So I had stressed. I had natural stressors and anxiety when I couldn't convince. When I couldn't convince even my own family, even my own daughters for that matter. I have raised 3 independent girls, and they have their own mind. And some subject matters remain to be so contentious to this day that because they are grown-ups and they have their own ways and means to decipher and to discern things, the values and their priorities, we also get to apply. That's still a sore subject for us to discuss. And more so with the people, outside the family or something like that. So we've learned to agree to disagree agreeably, sometimes successful, sometimes not. But I also realized that there are God has given us actually the reasoning power, some abilities that we can only discover if we are put in a circumstance or in a situation where we would really dig deep down inside us to remain steadfast and to remain having, not to relinquish the ultimate goal, which is for the peace, and to respect another child of God, to respect another creation of God who may have a different viewpoint. So I could say that far be it for me, to choose a more disruptive way to win an argument, to impose my belief on someone who is not ready to accept it yet. A case in point, yes, my own daughters. They would say, "I told you, Mama," and I would say, "Dear child, I've been there, and I know more, and let's just leave it at that." So we still have that relationship. I am still the mother, and they are still the daughter. Even though we have a different way of looking at things. So, what am I saying? In the pursuit, like this is July, right? In the remaining period where a lot has changed, and that I am, as it turns out, I have been part of different organizations. It just took them so long to realize it. And that the coming dialogues and the discussion about where do we go from here is about to take place. We are going to give each other another chance to look at what's on the table that had not been appreciated in the light of the sobriety. So first off, I had devoted some time to research on the local ordinances or customs and traditions that I might have, that I might have unwittingly, unknowingly, without intention to violate or a cause to offend someone because I should not, right? I have a public platform and I have opened myself up for different opinions and sentiments about myself, and the unfortunate consequence for me is that somehow my privacy also has been part of the cost. So my personal and my private life also had been given undue attention in comparison to my own statements because I dared to make my beliefs known. I have dared to share what what my priorities are, and naturally they will be examined in the glare, in the light of the person outside of this, outside or out of the lens of the camera. So this is yours truly, Clarice, and now that I received the intangible show of support to which I am so grateful, and I am so appreciative that it changed my mind, and that because I have changed my mind, um, which I had written so much in the beginning of this year, like I had intended to relinquish my Filipino citizenship because of the things that had happened. I thought that, just by taking away myself from the equation of the logo, there would be more, um, I would be doing a favor. It would be a mutual win-win solution if I take myself away, to take myself out of the equation, like I am not truly appreciated, and to bend backwards some more, it's going to break me, and I'm not going to exist as my person anymore if I would somehow um, believing a lie and conforming to what I think is not right for me. It may be for the best, but if I would not be a real person anymore, I should take away myself. I should be, absent and removed. But I am so thankful that I changed my mind. And because I changed my mind, I would need to convey the change of heart formally also, and why I somehow give sort of explanation to be respectful of why I have changed my mind about it. So I'd like to say also to I truly appreciate it. I don't think a person can outgrow, or any person can be immune to being appreciated and to being wanted, yeah, to being welcomed. I don't think any person can outgrow that. I don't think there is any person who is so cold and right in the mind not to appreciate the whatever motive or intent, for whatever reason, had been a recipient of a support that is not tangible, and just yet. So yeah, I would like to somehow share the reason why, in the absence of like the easiest way to address problem, there is still hope. There is very much hope floats that there is a reason not to give up hope, in spite of what the eyes can see or cannot see, in spite of what the five senses can discern or not, because we are also made of the non-material. We have soul, we have spirit, which although we cannot see, we see the fruits, and that is the reason why I am very optimistic about the future now and in the coming days. So thank you so much. You have, Tayaba City has given a mandate, trust and confidence to my brother counselor. He's the new counselor of Tayaba City, Jerry talaga. And as for me, for myself, I believe, let me hold on to that, that I had shown support. I had reason to believe that I am still very much a wanted kababayan here in Quezon, and that my presence is not that unpleasant and that some people still believe that I have I can be an asset, that I have something to contribute and to participate in, especially in the coming days. So yeah, each of these accounts, I hope to sort them out at the right venue, and by threshing out the the intangibles before I give the tangible payment for each of the financial obligation of yours truly. I hope to thresh out the complexities that if I give the payment through an online payment, it will not be a resolution to the the reason in the very first place why I had taken the loans, why I had applied for a credit. It was meant to address a need, and this need, of course, I should pay back the debts that I owe, but it should also be addressing the complexities, the intangibles of the purpose. It was part of the reason I had taken out loans anyway. So so I know that I've been receiving, my daughters and I, my daughter Joanna May had been receiving phone calls, and this is actually the account numbers. It's beside me to remind me and that I am working double time, triple time actually. I've been feverishly working here to set up the payment so that I can address the interest and also make up for the delay, and for me to truly benefit from the loans and the credits that I had applied for and successfully received. So this is your truly Clarice, and thank you for listening. In the coming days, I hope that more. This is actually the general description of the things that are to come, as far as I'm concerned, and the specifics would be, please stay tuned for them throughout this month, the month of July. It's the Independence Day. The 4th of July is the Independence Day in the US. For us, it's June, June 12th. But we also get to share what the 4th of July means. Thanks.